everyone. Welcome to another session of the Leadership Wellness Circle live stream. I am Myra Shaw, known as Maven Myra if you're following me, especially over on Instagram. I'm excited to share the conversation we're going to have today. And I am the confidence cultivator. That's the title I gave myself. I kind of like it. The confidence cultivator for the Leadership Wellness Circle community. So the live stream is just one component of that. We have the actual membership that's going to kick off April 1st. And this community is really created for high performing women leaders and founders seeking to lead powerfully and live joyfully, because it is the joy for me. That's just where I'm at in the journey. I say we blend professional growth with purposeful play to redefine success without burnout. I think I'm going to keep saying it. We're going to say burnout is a thing of our past. We're going to keep moving forward from that. So, you will be able to get more information about the Leadership Wellness Circle at the link that is on the screen. I'll share a little bit more about that. And these live streams are really just a continued conversation around things that help us develop as more powerful leaders that is leading with joy, right? So these conversations are designed to fuel confidence. That's one. Wellness, because we've got to take care of ourselves. And when I say wellness, I'm not necessarily talking about the manicure and the pedicure and the massage, although I love good spa treatments. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
But this wellness is the inside, right? We have got to be able to take care of ourselves, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually for those of us that are in that space, because that is the whole WHOLE woman. And that is how we show up as our best selves. Now, I am excited today to bring these two powerful, both licensed professional counselors. So, if you are looking for someone, and we're going to tell you some ways in the segment where, it might be time to move past the self help, what they said on threads or what the post was on Instagram, and see a professional. And there's nothing, hear me, women, there is nothing wrong with seeking professional help. Nothing that wrong. If that's what you need, sis, I encourage you with everything within me to get what you need. So, our topic today is going to be protecting my peace. Get someone else to do it. And listen, if I was standing up, I would be
Hmm.
dancing on this topic because the timing of it, right? There's a lot of things going on in our world, political world, social world, jobs, lots of concerns, legitimate concerns, right? But if we don't, especially black women, right? I one of my friends uses the term the world's mother. And I think we have been the world's mother for a very long time,
Hmm.
with oftentimes no reward for that. All right. So in this season, we're going to learn a new way, and I propose we carry it on out. I think I like it. I think we'll continue on with that. So I'm going to let my two amazing guests introduce themselves so we can hear some of the ways that they help support not just women but also men in our communities. So please help me welcome Miss Aisha Morgan and Sister Deanna Reddy. So Miss Morgan, would you please share with us a little bit about your background and how you became a licensed therapist and a life coach.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you, first of all, so much for having me here. It is a pleasure to be here. I am grateful for this. And let me tell you, when I saw the topic myself, I said, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
It is time. It
indeed.
is so very befitting. So it is not only just befitting for the times, but it's befitting for us. Here
Yeah.
we are. And so I'm so incredibly grateful. I am a licensed professional counselor here in the state of Texas. I'm also a licensed Christian life coach. And my practice is Journey to Life Counseling and Community Services here in Pearland. And I've been in private practice for about 4 or 5 years now. But prior to that, I have a wealth of experience in the mental health field, from community mental health to hospital settings to, teaching in the schools, mental health awareness, to consulting with, behavioral health agencies and things like that. And so I have quite a bit of experience, but my love and my passion for counseling really started in the church. It really
Okay.
started in the church,
Okay.
and teaching in the church, counseling in the church. That's where it started. And so God has allowed me, and actually called me, to incorporate both perspectives in my practice. It's not just, Journey to Life is not just a practice, it is my ministry.
Oh, I love
As
it.
a coach,
Mm.
I am a inner healing, and personal and spiritual development coach. So I, help women to, heal through and after, on the other side of trauma. On the other side, now they want to know how to rebuild their lives, how to move forward, how to grow and develop spiritually. And so I work with them to do that. I'm excited about that. And so, yeah, I'm here. I'm a
I love
mother.
it.
I'm a mother. I have one child, one daughter. God only graced me with one, and I'm grateful.
She sound good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for that introduction. Deanna, why don't you share with us your intro?
Whew. Well, coming behind two powerful women, this is a little bit of pressure, but I'm gonna make it do. I am Deanna Reddy, and I am owner of Reddy Therapeutic Solutions, where I do mental health and also consulting. On the consulting side, I am a social worker, licensed social worker, and I've been doing that for over 10 years. And helping, as we always used to say, is my passion. That's why I got into it. My mom would joke about, oh, when you were young, you wanted to be a professional gas station attendant just to help people. And I'm like,
Love it.
no. But I really do have that heart for people. Um, I often say I have a servant's heart. I love serving and I love doing it in the capacity which God has called me to. Initially, I was going to school for nursing, but
Mm,
quickly found out that that was not my calling. But it was in this capacity to where I can serve others and help them with their life transitions, whether it's
okay.
young adults, whether it's older adults, even our seasoned adults. That's where my heart is. It's about figuring out how to navigate these life transitions, whether it's anxiety, grief, depression, um, getting your loved one from being independent into going into a nursing facility, whatever that part of the life transition is. My goal is to make it smoother, and to make it to where it's something like, okay, it doesn't have to be the toughest decision. It's tough, but we can figure out different ways to navigate through it. um, I'm big on Jesus and therapy. So I believe that, you can go to church, but there's a little bit more that we also need to kind of help cope with those day to day things. Yeah, we pray about it, but what else can we do? What other coping skills can we provide to help navigate throughout these different things that's going on, especially now? Um, but yeah, that is me. I do not have kids, but I am a proud auntie of two beautiful boys, Caleb and Caden. And so that's me.
I love it. I love it. Listen, both of you bring me joy. That's I will say that for myself. We were having a meeting on Zoom the other night, and Deanna was in auntie mode, and baby, she had the baby and was like, "Let me turn my camera, my mic off, and handle the baby." I said, "Listen, we gonna work this thing out." I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. You know what? I love that both of you have the term Jesus and therapy go together, right? I think oftentimes, just from a background of traditional, maybe I'll call it Southern Baptist church, right? That those were perceived as you only needed one, or really only needed one, just church, just prayer, and not therapy. So I am absolutely happy to hear that we are being more inclusive of tools. I often say, put all the tools in your toolbox. So whatever you need, you can gain access to it. So let's jump with this question. With all of the current political, I'll just sum it up and say foolery that's going on, just put it there. Um, the heightened stress that people feel, emotional fatigue. What are some strategies women can really use to protect their peace, right? I think because we live in a world with a 24-hour news cycle, right?
Mhm.
I want us to understand we don't have to engage in that. If that's constantly pulling you into an anxiety feel, stress feel position, you
Mhm.
don't have to do that. So what Aisha, we'll start with you. What are some other ways that people can practical ways protect their peace, so that we're not on this constant roller coaster all day long of feeling stress and anxiety and worry and all of these things that in a natural mind would make sense to feel at this
Right.
current time.
Right. The first thing that comes to my mind is I'm a big on awareness. So the first thing I would say is being aware and actually knowing what those things are for you, right? What are those stressors? What are those, where is that point in which you've determined, hey, I can't go beyond this point. I think sometimes we don't always know. It isn't always clear, or it gets kind of muttered, right? We may
Mhm.
start with one thing, you turn the TV on and they're talking about one thing, or you're dealing with one thing, and before you know it, I haven't had time to process that. Now here comes something else, and then you
Mhm.
have this what we call like compound complex stress, where it's multiple things and you can't even pull it apart. So I think it's important to know first and foremost, what are those people, what are those situations, what are those circumstances, what are those things, right, that will get you to the point to where you're okay, at this point I have to protect my peace.
Mhm.
this is
Yeah.
this is um, a threat to my peace. Your
Mm.
peace is
Yeah.
important, it's
Yeah.
priceless. It's priceless,
Yeah.
and you have to know those things that are out there threatening to steal your peace or to disrupt your peace. A lot of times we
Mhm.
don't know it before we're already trying to juggle all these different things. So I would say that first. And then secondly, in addition to that, is limiting your exposure, like you were saying. Push back. There's some, you
Mhm.
got to know what you can handle and what you can't. You
Yeah.
have to know, hey,
Mhm.
this right here is a normal, maybe natural, I hate the word normal, but an acceptable amount of stress for the situation. But once we go beyond here, oh no, it's get somebody else to do it. And we have to know, right? We have to know. I think it's important that we put our finger on the pulse of what that is, not just in the moment, but for me, long term. What is that?
Mhm.
What is that? Because I need to know it
Yeah.
so I know when I reach it, right? So knowing,
Yeah.
knowing what you can handle, what you can't, and what are those things that are subject to threaten your peace. That's the first and
I,
foremost.
I love that, the awareness piece. I
Mhm.
am aware that I cannot watch the regular news.
Yeah.
Period. I just listen. I be in the house. How I'm fighting in my
Ready to
own
go.
house at
Right.
the TV. What
Right.
is happening? So I want to be informed, of what's
Mhm.
happening in the land. And so for me, I take the comedic approach, and so I watch the Daily Show or one of the nighttime shows because they're giving you the news highlights,
Mhm.
but it's in comedy form, and I can digest it a little bit better there. I made a mistake last Friday because my day was a little bit abnormal with schedule, and had a little extra time in the morning and messed around and turned on that news.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Whole day was just, I was like, well, and I was like, I
Mhm.
watched the news
Mhm.
Mhm.
early in the morning. Why? And
Mhm.
I was sitting there going, why would you do that, Myra?
Right.
Why would you put yourself in that position? So I love that, um, Miss Morgan, of being aware what
Mhm.
your stresses are, what's going to steal your peace. Because if you don't know, you can't rely on someone else to say, oh, that's going to bother you.
Right.
Right.
We have to be self aware. Deanna, what would you add to that? And also, what are those same strategies used protecting your peace when it comes to family members or friends? How do we handle that? Because sometimes they can be a little stressor,
Mhm.
um, in this season, just another layer of things.
I agree, and I think we also have to be more so intentional about what we're doing, understanding what our piece is and how we need to focus on it as individuals. Not trying to carry everything, not trying to be that person or that savior for everyone, because that's not for us.
Yeah.
Of course, we want to be informed, but not overwhelmed. So that means we have to get the knowledge sometimes, but we also have to figure out, okay, what is my capacity level? Do I have the capacity to take on all of these things that's happening in the world, that's happening in my home, that's happening all around me? Do I have the capacity for that? Or how do I disconnect from that? Also setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries is key. As we move forward, it should have been something set before, but now we really have to start setting boundaries to say, okay, friend, I love you, but I don't have the capacity right now to take on your problems plus try to figure out my own life.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
to the rest of the world, hey, I hear, I feel, but right now I got to protect myself. I got to know what I need first before I can do or be anything to anyone else. Understanding when it's time to disconnect. Yes, we can get
Mm.
this knowledge, we can see, but maybe social media or the news isn't the best thing at first thing in the morning. Get some quiet time, ease into the day. So just figuring out what our piece is and what we need in those moments and how to set healthy boundaries with family, friends, social media, news outlets. All of that is important because if not, it starts to suck us dry. We get so overwhelmed with everything, but like I said, it's important to be informed but not overwhelmed. So learning to
Yeah.
disconnect.
I love that. And, boundaries, one of our adult children, I told her, you just got to stay off the news, stay off social. She deleted, our daughter deleted her Instagram account because she was like, it was really stressing her out. I'm like, well, just get rid of it. Like, if anything critical happens, your dad is gonna send a text to the family group text. We're gonna all be informed. So you're not gonna miss what you need. But I want women to hear that if you need to disconnect, set the boundary, you have full permission today to do it. And hear me, my people pleasers. If anyone gets mad, they're gonna be okay. I listen,
Mm-hmm.
prioritizing your peace. That's where you have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, I always say everyone else is gonna be okay. The earth is gonna keep
Yeah,
turning on its axis and they're gonna be all right. And at the end, remember, boundaries are for you. They're
absolutely.
not for the other person. They listen, whether they get with it or not, the boundary is for you. And how are you going to take care of yourself? Because I often say, as an entrepreneur and a founder, if the captain of the ship goes down,
Yeah.
well, who's going to manage the ship?
Mm-hmm.
It's Myra Shaw Enterprises. Leadership Wellness Circle. It's founded, run by me. So if I'm not taking care of me, then what? Who's going to manage the assignment that I feel like I've been given in the earth? So this is not just selfishly about us, right? But you managing your peace and taking care of yourself also gives you the capacity, we've been using that word,
Mm-hmm.
to live out your assignment with, one of my friends says, grace, ease, and flow.
Yes.
Grace,
Mm-hmm.
ease, and flow. And I think that is a great place for us to remember we deserve, deserve some grace, ease, and flow. In the Lord's Prayer where he says he leads me beside still waters. I'm like, God,
Mm-hmm.
still the waters right now. Because
Right.
there's a lot going on, right? Still
Yeah.
the waters and let people know that they, if no other time, we have to put our trust in a place. Our pastor was preaching on Sunday and he said, God is not our resource, God is our source. The
Mm-hmm.
source, which is unchanged, no matter who's in office or who's not, no matter who the senator is or who the senator is not, the source is unchanged. So listen, be be encouraged
Mm-hmm.
about your awareness. You be aware of what's happening with you. Be okay to set boundaries that work for you and know your capacity, right?
Right.
Know when you're eking up. I call that, now y'all know I talk a little sassy, but I call that, I know when people are tapping on my crazy button. Mm-hmm. I know when you're tapping. And that means I can't require you to do something. I got to do something.
Right.
And I've got to stage exit right and let you do what you're doing because I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to get out of character. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and exit and let you do what you do. Many of us, self care has been one of those popular words over the last several years, right? But I think one of the things, we have kind of sometimes associated it with, oh, well, let me go take a trip. well, what if your money funny and you can't take the trip, right? Does that mean you don't get self-care? What if you can't afford to run to the spa in this season of your life? What are some ways around stress management, anxiety reduction, keeping your peace? What are some self-care things, practical things that people, let's say a person has no extra budget, they can't run to the spa, do all the things. What are some things they can do that are practical, sustainable steps that they can take toward maintaining their wellness, mental health, spiritual health, and to be consistent at it? I think when we're consistent at these tools that we're going to share, that keeps us from being in burnout mode, right?
Right.
Burnout is a result of not implementing your self care. So, what are some practical, sustainable steps or tools around wellness? Could be mental, physical, spiritual, that people can hopefully be consistent with. Deanna, why don't you kick us off with that one?
Absolutely. It goes back to, again, being intentional. We have to be intentional about us, and just as well as we've always been intentional about others, we got to figure out, how am I showing up for myself first,
Mm-hmm.
before I get to that point of burnout. That also means understanding what we feel in our body, understanding that just because I can complete 10 tasks today, I may not have that same capacity tomorrow. I may not
Yeah.
be able to take on a full load. Every day is not the same, because as we see, there's so many different things that change day to day. We may not be able to have that same capacity. So being intentional with yourself, understanding your warning signs before you get to that point of what they call now as crash out. Understanding
Mm,
before you get to that point of saying, I'm stressed, I'm depressed, I'm just hiding in my shell, I'm not doing the things I used to do. You got to take inventory of yourself. Take inventory of your life and your body, because your body's going to give off those somatic symptoms of something that's happening. You stressed out, so you're having a headache every day. You're not understanding, well, why am I feeling like this? Why am I fatigued? Why am I anxious? What's on your plate? I like to tell
mm.
my clients often, every day can't be a Thanksgiving plate. We know how we
Oh
eat
my,
at Thanksgiving.
that's
We
good.
and every day can't be that. So you got to
Yeah.
figure out, what do I have on my plate today that I can do, and not worry about tomorrow. Um, Even with understanding, our peace, just like the word says, peace I leave with you. I don't give you the peace as the world gives, and so understanding that spirituality plays a huge role. If you're a believer, or whatever your walk is, spiritual health and mental health go hand in hand. Just like we said,
Mhm.
big on Jesus and therapy. So free things. You got a Bible, you got a Bible app. You can start a daily devotion, starting with easing into your day, asking the Lord, Lord, what do you need me to do today? Before we even touch the social media phone. You have a bathtub, or a shower, creating that atmosphere for yourself where you don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money. Um, Even scheduling times. Okay, maybe every day it can't be a full out bubble bath, but maybe on midweek Wednesdays, I'm gonna take me a bath. I'm gonna light me some candles. I'm gonna just set the aroma to the atmosphere to where I can enjoy it. I can disconnect.
Mhm.
I can put on some soothing music. I can dim the lights. Whatever it looks like. Self care doesn't have to be super expensive. It
Mhm.
can just be using what you have in your home, utilizing your resources. If that's sitting on the patio, I am a patio queen. I have a
Love
sign
it.
on my patio now that says porch therapy, because I just sit out there and just be.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of those things, you again have to be intentional about what you need. You can't look at everybody else. Oh, well, this person goes to the spa every month. That's not your budget. That's not in
Yeah.
your life. So
Yeah.
figure out what you need. Doing simple things, working out, morning walks, whatever it is, find that simplicity, but also have that prayer life. Have that prayer life to where you can say, okay, God, look, I'm at this point. Now, what do I need to do? And being
Yeah.
intentional about hearing from Him and what that next phase is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love, love, love all of those. I've my husband and I in the evenings we have kind of become patio people as well.
Mhm.
And the crazy is we can sit on the patio and not even exchange a whole lot of words. Everybody is
Mhm.
just digressing from the day and their own little zone of whatever his day was, whatever mine was, just kind of releasing from that whole thing. Now, I am a bubble bath queen. I mean,
Absolutely.
about 7 days out of seven, I'm gonna get a good bath. I'm gonna get a good bath, and that's when I can just kind of
Mm-hmm.
and I think this is important for us to know too. I talk about capacities, and we're not each given the same assignment on capacity, right? I think
Yeah.
I'm a 10-gallon woman, right? I have a lot that I have the capacity to give, and I try to operate in that. That also means I've got to be just as intentional to release the pressure from that big 10-gallon.
Absolutely.
I can't take a little 1 gallon, like let the air out a little bit, and like, okay, I'm good. Got to be intentional to come down off of that. And in one of my podcast episodes, I talk about morning routines and evening routines.
Mm-hmm.
And because when my day gets rolling after my morning routine, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going. At about 8:30 is when I start the downshift because I can't just go from boom to, whew, I'm going to go to sleep. No, I have to start downshifting. And when I start that process, normally the same time every day, that triggers to my brain, okay, sis is getting ready to start coming down off the mountaintop now.
Right.
We need to start slowing this down.
Mhm.
Then my brain can start saying, okay, she's getting ready to settle down. She's getting ready to start slowing down so that when I get ready to go to sleep, and I do at times struggle with getting to sleep and staying asleep. Now, part of that's menopause. We'll talk about that on a different episode. But my sleep, I'd be like, now, Jesus, please give me sweet sleep
Yes.
tonight. I need it today, right? Still incorporating that word that, God, I need to be restored during this
Mhm.
sleep time. And I
Yes.
need to be able to be ready to be my best gallon self the
Mhm.
next day through this sleep process. So I love those practical, budget friendly ways to maintain your peace and your wellness.
Mhm.
Miss Aisha, what do you have for us?
I definitely agree with all of that. I would actually self care, practicing self care. I think the reason why, well, at least one of the reasons why we struggle with being consistent in it is because we view it as something we just check off, right? As something
Mm,
that we
yeah,
just check off, as opposed to a lifestyle. And that's to your
Yeah.
yeah.
point of what you were saying. I value taking care of myself because I need me to be intact for me to do that which the Lord has purposed and called me to do. And if I don't
Hmm.
consider myself as equally important in that, then how is somebody else going to view it as important? I
Yeah.
have to see it as important. Another thing too, I'm a fan of self-reflection, and in my self-care time, stand in front of that mirror. Make it a
Okay.
habit of standing in front of that mirror, woman in the mirror, and it's
I
a
love
good
it.
opportunity for you to pray, for you to seek God about whatever the challenges are, whatever your successes are, whatever it is that you need, those areas in which you need to grow. Stand in that mirror. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of taking time each day to reflect. I'm a fan of bedtime routines and nighttime
Hmm.
rhythms, and taking that time to just slow down,
Hmm.
and say, okay, Father, what happened today? What
Okay.
happened today?
Mm.
What do I need for tomorrow? What do I
Hmm.
need for tomorrow?
Mm.
What do you
I
need
like
me to
that.
do? And really just taking that time to sit in that.
Oh, I love it. I love reminding us that self care is just not a checklist. It's
Mm.
just not a checklist. It is a lifestyle. It's part of who we are. And, I think here's something to encourage women to be consistent. For me, once I got consistent, and let's say I woke up and for whatever reason touched this horrible little device first, about an hour into that, I could feel my heart rate go up and I
Mm.
could feel and I'm like what happened? And it's like, oh, you skip your whole morning routine.
Yep.
Mhm.
You went to reply to one text message. Now you done
Mhm.
sent 5 Instagram messages and wrote a whole blog,
Mhm.
and you hadn't had a quiet moment. And
Mhm.
in that moment, that's when I say I hit the reset button right then. It could
Mhm.
be 1 o'clock. I need to just stop and
Yes.
hit reset and get the quiet time. So get don't beat yourself up if you're just starting to learn these morning routines, evening routines, whatever works for you, and you get off track a day or
Mhm.
2 days. Hit the reset button.
Yeah.
Give
Mm,
yourself grace and
mm,
start again because some days. So Lashana, who I see in the chat, introduced us to an app called oh God, it's something with prayer. Hold on, y'all, because I got to tell y'all this. um Centering Prayer, this app. I love this app because, and it's free. You can select a reading or a scripture to start with,
mhm.
and then you pick a sound. If you want a sound, I pick the lovely sound bowls. And what that does is just reminds me to bring my whole self into
Mhm.
this quiet moment.
Mhm.
And then you pick the amount of silent time you want. Now, listen, I started with 5 minutes because now that's my brain be trying to do the stuff. I said, I'm going to be gentle with my own self and start with 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, what I try to focus on is just gratitude. I
Yeah.
try not to be before the Lord asking for five more things. God, can you make sure that I get the contract and just gratitude on all of the
Mhm.
things, how He's protected my family, kept us in health, all of the things in that 5 moments. The
Yes.
sound, my sound bowls come again, and then there's an ending scripture or reading that you pick your own,
Mhm.
and I'm like, that's
Mm.
how I get my day started.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, if you are waking up and grabbing that phone, listen, that's your first step. Listen, that's assignment number one. Do
Yeah.
not wake up and grab your phone.
Do not.
It's it's not the assignment
Yeah.
of getting somebody else to do it and keeping your peace.
Yeah.
Do not grab your phone. That's step one. Just let whatever text, email, the people gonna wait. They're gonna be all right. Unless it's an all-out emergency, make that morning time your time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give it to anybody else. Make it just for you. So I love that we've shared strategies, ways to identify, be aware of what stressors are, indicate that you're kind of eking up toward your anxiety levels. And we've talked about self care and how do we do things ourselves. What are some indications for someone that maybe they're in a space, in a season of life that they need to seek professional help from a licensed professional? Now, I tell clients and people that I interact with all the time, I am not a licensed professional, but I can recommend you to some licensed professionals. That's not my area. I don't want to do that, right? What are some indicators for someone who maybe is at home and they've tried the things we've talked about and they're feeling that they're in a black hole that is just too heavy, and maybe they're just even in a space of feeling like maybe they just don't want to continue with life? What are some of those indicators, and what is it? Let's say they're an emergency. What's the step they need to take to reach out for support, for anyone, man, woman? If they see it in a child or family member, what's that step that they need to do, or what's something they can do, and identify that, what, okay, I might be at a place that I now need professional help. Miss Morgan, will you start us off with that?
Yes, I think some of the things that you were just talking about, when you get to the when it's to the point to where you've either maybe perhaps have tried some things, right,
Hmm.
and it's not working for you, or maybe like we talked about earlier, where it's just a whole lot at one time, and it's difficult for you to separate or to pull those things apart so that you can deal with them. It's just muddled all together, and it's causing you some distress. Perhaps maybe you're having difficulty functioning. It's hard for you to get up in the morning. It's hard for you to do the things that you would normally and naturally, be able to do on a day-to-day basis.
Hmm.
Perhaps maybe you just can't think beyond, where you are right now, and you need some help to be able to maybe come up with a different perspective, or to try, something new. That may be time for you to see a therapist, or to be able to talk to somebody. For crisis, for me in my practice, if it's a crisis situation, if you're no if you're having thoughts of self-harm, or you're having thoughts of, unaliving yourself and things like that, if you're violent, if you're aggressive, if it's toxic, all of those are potentially crisis type of situations. And we ask that you don't sit around and wait. right?
Okay.
That you get yourself to somebody that can help you to process through these times. And of course, if it's a real emergency situation, you're at risk of harm right then and there, then we have resources in the community that can assist you with getting crisis help, getting you connected to those facilities and programs that could assess you, evaluate you, and get you some immediate attention and help.
Hmm.
I love it. Deanna, you have anything you want to add to that?
Yes, absolutely. So again, going back to understanding what you feel. Also, parents, friends, having that conversation when you start to notice that your loved one is secluding, when you start to notice that your loved one isn't coming out like they used to, understanding that those could be potential signs of depression, which leads to that down spiral of additional negative thoughts. So understanding where you are, understanding that it's okay not to be okay, but we don't want you to stay in that. We want you to feel as if you have that outlet. Therapy is not judgmental.
Yeah.
You can come have that discussions of whatever it may be, and feel free to let that off, because that's what therapy is about. We're not here to judge you. We're not here to tell you, well, you need to leave this or do that. No, it's a conversation. We're going to give you tools to cope, um, and knowing that it's a marathon, not a race. So just because the trauma has occurred over 30 something years, you start therapy and you expect to be healed in a week. That's not how it works, because it
Yeah.
took time for that trauma. So it's going to take time to unlearn and change some things. If it's immediate risk, the one that comes right to mind is 988. It's You can text that help hotline if you're having those ideations. There's tons of different resources like Psychology Today. You can filter it. You can filter it by age, nationality, religion, all of these different things. Therapy for Black girls and Black men. Social media. I know we talked about limiting that, but use those hashtags. There's licensed therapists that actually are on there who are wanting to help. So you're not alone in this journey. Everyone goes
Yeah.
through things, no matter what they make appear to look like on social media. Everyone struggles with something, and it's just
Yeah.
about getting connected to the right people to help process those things.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. And it sums up our title of this segment so well: protecting our peace. We're going to get somebody else to do it. We don't know who it
Get
is, and we're not
somebody.
worried.
Hmm.
We're not
Hmm.
worried about who's going to do it.
We're gonna look
We're
for
not
them.
going to do it.
We're gonna look for
Yeah.
them.
We're gonna look for them.
And the therapists are out
Because,
there really ready to do it.
Yes.
yes, listen, ready, ready. And here's what I say to people: if you're, in that space where you feel like you are in a place where you do need some professional counseling, you don't have to post it on any platform and tell nobody. If you're a person that's a little shy or ashamed or whatever that is you're feeling, listen, your privacy is 1000% protected with you and your therapist. They not going to tell nobody. You don't have to tell nobody. The goal is to just get the help that you need. Lashana has a question. She's saying, therapist, what do you think about EDMR? I don't know what that is, so somebody tell me, and then let us know what you think about it.
I'll just go in and say that that is not my specialty. You have to be specifically trained for that. It's eye
Okay.
movement. It's a whole
Eye
name. Um,
desensitization. Eye
there we
something.
go. That's not
Okay.
my
So that's
specialty.
that's a specific
Hmm.
training in the therapist space.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I like that. So ladies and men that are connecting with this as well, we're definitely going to list Aisha and Deanna's contact information, their website links, so that if you are a person that you need a professional counselor or you're connected to someone that is in need of a professional counselor, you've heard these ladies share great insight, great information that you can trust. This is a big space where you have to be able to trust the person that you're interacting with. And, I love to use the hashtag when it's appropriate, hashtag Maven approved. These ladies are Maven approved. So we'll be sure and drop their information and some of the other resources that they've shared. We will be sure and drop those in the show notes, because most importantly, we want you to know that you are worthy of living in peace.
Oh
You are
yes.
worthy to not be filled with anxiety and stressed out every doggone day. Get
Yes.
somebody else to do it. If they want to do it, let them do it. But we are taking a intentional, proactive stance that we're not going to be the ones to do it anymore. Listen, Aisha and Deanna, I could talk to y'all all day. I could talk to y'all all day, because I love your energy and I love that, as Black women who are also licensed therapists, you bring such joy to the space, right? I think oftentimes people are afraid, they're imagining this, uh, person just won't identify with what they're going through. And it brings me joy to know that, we have people in the space who are ready to receive us and meet us where we have the point of need. So, um, ladies, stay focused. Stay focused. Be selfish. Stay focused on you.
Mhm.
Stay focused on you in this season with protecting your peace. It's no one else's job. No one else is going to be able to do it for you. It's not their assignment. It is your assignment to protect your peace. And listen, this is one of those things I say at all costs, hold you down
Yeah,
so that when you wake up each day, you can be in a mindset to be refreshed, to be renewed. And some days, I was explaining that some days it's epic fail over here. And I just stay in my lounge clothes and I watch whatever TV show I want to watch. And that is what happens. That is the day.
Mhm.
yeah,
Give yourself grace. We're not gonna have it all figured out every day. Listen, I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm unbothered that I don't. Okay.
Yes.
Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace to, you're a real human living in a real world that
absolutely.
has a whole lot of problems and issues and things going on. So if some days your best is to chill out, to relax, to reset yourself, you have heard it. You have full
Yes.
permission
Really.
to do what you need to do. Because as I'm often saying, everyone's not waiting for Myra Shaw.
Hmm.
Someone's waiting for you to deliver into the earth the assignment that you were given. And if you laid out, stressed out on the couch and you can't pull it together, then we can't get what we need.
Thank you, what
We
we need.
need it. Yeah, no one else can give it to us but you. So listen, ladies, thank you so very much again,
Yeah.
for joining us. Miss Aisha, give us your, at least your website and social connections. Deanna, give us yours so that the folks will know how to immediately follow them on their platforms and, stay connected. I know Deanna does a Tuesday, video that she shares great information. Miss Aisha does a lunch break, video, so you can get some quick tips, some quick
Mhm.
dopamine involvement throughout the week from these ladies. Miss Aisha, share with, the audience where they can connect with you at.
You can connect with our practice here at Journey to Life Counseling and Community Services. We are on Facebook, on Instagram, um, and on TikTok. And on TikTok.
Come on,
On
TikTok.
TikTok. Come on, TikTok. You can also reach us at our website at www.journeytolifeccs.com. We do have a podcast that I was obedient and took some time off. The Lord said, sit down for a second, and I did that. And so we'll look forward to gearing back up with that. But it is a Lunch Break Chronicles podcast where we are merging, therapeutic as well as biblical approach to certain issues and topics. And so I'm excited about re-engaging with that. And we are on YouTube, with Lunch Break Chronicles podcast. So yeah.
I love it. How about you, Miss Deanna?
You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook at readytherapeutic.solutions.com. Well, at Ready Therapeutic Solutions. And website is www.readytherapeutic.solutions.com. Therapy Tip Tuesday will begin again next week, just as Myra said. Just giving tidbits, most of it is mental health, but as I stated, I'm a social worker, so I'm big on, pulling resources together for the community. If it's an elderly loved one who's needing resources, we can't forget about them as well because they have that life transition that they're going through.
Mhm.
So if it's those kind of resources or just needing to be connected, Ready Therapeutic Solutions is here to help.
I love it. I love it. Ladies, thank y'all again. Listen, our next episode is going to be February 20th, same time, 11 a.m. Central. My guest will be Raisha Smith. She is the founder of Every Dope Girl, which we have a whole story on how she and I connected. And she's also a corporate professional with Microsoft. So we're going to be talking about that work life integration because she's a corporate professional and a business founder. That's a lot. And so we're going to be talking about how do you create these this harmony between these dual dreams that you might be living out. And you can get more information about the Leadership Wellness Circle. Enrollment is open for that through March 31st. Then that will be the end of that. We're only going to do open enrollment for these first 3 months, and then we're going to kick off with that. So, ladies, again, thank you so very much for joining me today. And audience, Maven Nation, we'll see you in 2 weeks right back here at 11 a.m.
Bye.